Hey Peter, how are you?
Hi, Carmine. How are you?
Very well, thank you so much for your time today.
Nice to be here.
So, Peter, first of all, Noah and his younger brother Chris actually have a little thing going on because they constantly remind each other not to give up and to keep going. And I was wondering, whenever life or your career gave you a reason to give up, how did you make sure to keep going?
Paying the bills. In terms of career, that's definitely living in New York City, quite a strong impetus to keep going, or else you'll be kicked out of your apartment. Um, no, I mean, that's a very interesting, good question. What does it mean to keep going? Joy, the joy of people who you surround yourself with, friends and people you work with. As an actor, you are only as strong and having as much fun as the people you surround yourself with. And hopefully at work, it's the same in your life. You get lucky sometimes. I did a show for 10 years in which I was surrounded by the most incredible people, and it could have not been that way, and I got very fortunate. So it's as an actor, it's really just around who we're so dependent on each other and the tribe that you're with. That's what keeps you going.
Right, all right. And what about, because there's a scene that I really love, it's the scene where actually Noah and Elena see a different person in Prime, because while Noah sees like the general, the leader in Prime, Elena does actually see like a big brother who's trying to save his family. And I was wondering, because in this business that we are working in, it seems to be very easy for people, to judge based on first impressions, whatever those impressions might be. And I was wondering, what would you say how difficult it can be at times, to make people see the real you?
Well, it depends on who the person is, of who you're revealing to. Sometimes you want to protect the real you from strangers on the street. But again, being an actor, people do project a lot of your characters onto you personally. Having, especially when you're doing TV, you're in their homes for many years. They expect you to sound like that character, to behave like that character, to sometimes drink like that character. And when it's not the case, there's sometimes you can see the disappointment in their eyes. But you try to be kind, try to be sweet, try and be, yeah,
Right.
just because if they're fans and you just sort of want to be kind. When their first impression of you is not really you, it's a character. So,
Yeah.
you're basically trying to, I don't know, whatever they thought you were, the first impression is perhaps not you.
Exactly right. And throughout the story, while Noah's character is trying, to fight your character, he goes like, I've done a lot of mistakes, but I can't fail at this. And I was wondering if you ever found yourself, in a similar situation where you actually had to tell yourself, no matter what, but I cannot fail at this.
Well, failure is kind of a relative term. It's very specific to the individual, isn't it? We all have our very different definitions of triumph and failures. I like what Samuel Beckett said. You just have to try again and fail better, which I love that idea of failing better, because you're always trying to achieve everything from experience is just trying to relate it to the next thing and doing better at it. And not really, I don't think you should call anything a failure. As long as the effort is there.
Wow, seriously.
Because I've had things, it's beyond your control, especially with what I do for a living. You can have the greatest experience and you can have work with the greatest people. And then we equate it, what if it's like box office failure? That's what they say. It's like, well, okay, but it wasn't a failure to me. Financially, it might have been, but it was one of the greatest experiences I've had. So therefore, failure is relative to what we're talking about,
Absolutely, so true, so true. Seriously, Peter, I want to thank you so much, not only for your time, but also for sharing your thoughts with me today.
Yeah.
And of course, you have all the best for Transformers.
Yay. Thank you.